I thought it would be a good idea to just put all of these insights and the artifact in one big video. I thought just figure out how things go, see what our thoughts are, what we believe in. So here they are. So we're gonna start with the Renegade abilities. So we got Dear Guardians, combat team here with the final sandbox shooting preview article for Renegades. This one is focused on player abilities, specifically buffing player abilities. Below you find dozens of juicy ability buffs, a handful of PvP only nerfs, and one solitary PvE nerf. A lot of changes to avoid turning this into a novel. Alright, so we'll start with Hunter. So Hunter's Solar is getting some buff, beginning with Gunslinger. Gunslinger changes to primarily focus on making Gunslinger damage more impressive. Gunslingers typically need to be precise with their abilities. Ah, yes. Okay, thank you. Alright, now we can go through this. Gunslinger's getting a bunch of buffs, starting with the actual super damages themselves. So increasing the damage against non-boss combatants by 15%, and then increasing the damage against bosses by 26%. So it removes the disparity between boss and non-boss damage. Gun projectiles now scorch targets, 40 stacks base, and plus 10 with each increased stacks fragment. So that'd be 50 base, which means you could get an ignition off of 2 gun shots. I don't know if that means you want to have more golden gun shots. Like if you do Nighthawk, I guess you'd have to find out if they stack. So if it does the 150 or 120 scorch, I mean, it's going to ignite anyway. It should ignite off of the one Nighthawk shot. And when fired inside a well of radiance, golden gun now counts as radiant for increased damage. Don't have to try sliding out of the way of wells when they're getting planted for golden gun damage. I think this is good. I think that, I mean, golden gun has been pretty much the staple besides some like niche things. So it's good to see that it's coming back. Yeah, leaving the well while golden gunning. I think I slid into locks as well to golden gun at one point today. It's good. It's been needed for forever, which is where you'd end up using like Song of Flame instead of it. The Blade Barrage super is increasing its damage against combatants by 39%. This is good. I love Blade Barrage. I think it's a fantastic super. I hope that this buff gives it enough to then push into things, especially with like, you know, Shards of Gallon or like the exotic class item. Proximity explosive knife, weighted knife, and lightweight knife, and knife trick. Okay, all the melee abilities. Increases damage against red bars by 50%. Excellent. Increases damage against other enemies by 36%, and increases the crit multiplier from 1.3 to 1.5 for lightweight knives. This could, with all the grenade changes and such, if you can get like a high grenade melee stat for like Ahamkaras, knife trick would be pretty good. Like adding that 36% for melees. I know melees aren't doing crazy damage, but that could be a very big boost towards some more Ahamkara damage. I love using Ahamkaras as well. I've been loving Gunpowder more, which is just here, but we'll do Acrobat Dodge first because this is insane. Increases passive energy regen rate in PvE by 112%. So now it matches Gambler's Dodge, because that was the thing. You would radiate, like make yourself radiant, and then you would never get it back. Well, you wouldn't get it back as fast. You had to sort of spec into it to then get it back, whereas Gamblers and Marksmen were sped up much quicker. So this will help. Like, see, having this more available would then sort of override the need for a well if this wasn't getting fixed. Like, if this wasn't getting fixed, this is huge, in my opinion. Especially with, like, what is it, speed loader slacks? I don't know, that's probably not the way that people would use it, but that's how I would consider it. And then Gunpowder Gamble aspect. Shooting the dynamite in midair now increases damage by 50%, 5% in PvP. Expands the radius and creates sub-munitions. I'll probably do a video on my gunpowder build that I have been rocking with Renegades. But I mean, like, the gunpowder with Verities has been so fun and so good to use. So creating sub-munitions for it as well is going to help out a lot. It might make a push for full solar. I don't know if you would still go full solar. I feel like Prismatic is the way to go for it, but very happy to see Gunpowder get buffed for the 3 of us that use it. It's been more satisfying, obviously, to shoot it in the air, like Western style. So getting a damage buff for that, 50%. Moving on to Night Stalker. Changes to Night Stalker in this release are mostly centered on the Shadow Shot supers. We want Deadfall to be the best choice for weakening beefy targets while making Mobius Quiver a top tier damage choice. We are actively working on additional neutral game Night Stalker changes that we intend to release in Shadow and Order. Shadow and Order is like the same as Ash and Iron for Edge of Fate, so it's going to be like the little mid-season update and such. In the general abilities section below, you'll also find some changes to Void fragments that will benefit Night Stalker in the meantime. Never going to say no to Void buffs because it definitely has has felt like it's in a place where you don't use it at all. Probably for some purely stealth things. Other than that, you're never going to use it when you can just get deadfall on prismatic. Like, you just go tether things and then you've got the rest of the prismatic kit being used in niche scenarios as well. Like, it's never really... Mobius as well just fell off. Like, you never use Mobius because you could just be using deadfall and buffing everyone's damage. So tether source now attaches to combatants on direct impact. Okay, this is big because it was so annoying having it hit and then pulse and then apply everything. And it's increasing the weaken effect from 30 to 35%, making it the strongest weaken in the game. That is very, very good. That is also then just going to incline on running it more. You're never really gonna want a tractor cannon. Obviously, again, niche situations, but tether deadfall is just the best thing, best support super. And now immediately awakens and suppresses enemies in an area of effect on impact. So it attaches and also automatically applies these debuffs. That's good. I think that's very, very good. It's still just sort of the suppress thing, but it's getting more of a use. The weaken is stronger now, and also the suppression is big. Mobius Quiver. While the super is active, dealing damage now increases the power of subsequent shadow shot attacks and bow weapons. Note, this puts a bar on your screen that charges as you deal damage. When charged, your final shot or final 2 shots with Orpheus deals significantly increased damage, turning it into one of the highest damage supers in the game by 227%. Increases the super duration from 10% to 16 seconds, where with Orpheus, this is 16 to 20 seconds. Oh my goodness. You know what reloads whenever you fire your super? It's just a little guy, you know, it's just the He's in Vengeance, you know? I guess it just depends on how much damage that is, because that is crazy. So you can fire your shadow shot, or sorry, your Mobius, activate the overflow part of Heathen, fire your 2 rockets, fire the second one of your Mobius, fire 2 more rockets, fire it again, and you fired 6 shots in like 20 seconds, not 20 seconds. Oh my god, that's like 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Okay, that's it. I'm leaving now. I gave in. Oh, I gave in to that. I'm gonna cut it. You never know what I'm gonna have. All right, moving to Smoke Bomb. Increases projectile lifetime after sticking to a surface from 3 seconds to 9 seconds. Reduces lingering smoke time in PvP from 5 seconds to 2 seconds. Good. Reduce screen effect intensity and duration while in enemy smoke. Reduces damage against players by 16%. All right, cool. So this is just like PvE longer, everything else to the ground, because it's very frustrating dealing with smoke bombs, making it more as a trap than a damage dealer. Arcstrider. The Arcstrider changes the light this time around. Moving forward, we'll be looking for opportunities to diversify the number of Arcstrider builds that feel powerful in endgame combat. Storm Edge, passive energy regeneration increased by 25%, and the Tempest Strike aspect reduced damage against players by 16%. This was always a nightmare to have to bloody deal with in PvP. You would just see the little slide staff ability, and the lightning just track at you, and you just get one shot. And should have played around it. Or something, I don't know. Stasis Revenant. We have 2 Revenant changes for you this time around, but they're impactful ones. Ooh. Shatter Dive. Shattering crystals or enemies now grants frost armor. Note, any shatter grants full stacks in PvE and 2 stacks in PvP. Shatters just give full frost armor by diving. It's pretty easy, like Mask of Fealty and a bunch of headstone weapons. It's pretty easy to create crystals. So that's good. That's good. We needed the more sustain and survivability. I mean, you could also, with Renewal Grasp, you go back to sitting in your dome, you make that little one in the middle, shatter it, you got full frost armor. That's lovely. And Silence and Squall increase damage against combatants by 63%. So this could be pretty good for situational things, again, like lingering, hitting multiple targets, ad clear, hitting multiple enemies of bosses would be good too. Mainly the Vesper's Host. Interesting. Strand, Threadrunner. Our Threadrunner changes the focus on increasing team play potential with Widow's Silk and making Silk Strike more durable. All right, so with the Widow's Silk aspect, which is the 2 grapples, and when you grapple, you make a grapple point for people. Looking at a grapple tangle for a short time now overrides your grenade ability with a free, non-offensive grapple. Note, this allows you to give grapple capabilities to fellow guardians who don't have strand or grapple equipped. Also works for the Navigator Exotic Trace Raffle. Okay, I don't know what the timer is on that, like how long you have to stare at it to get that. It could be a way to sort of stealth combat grapple melee as a DPS thing. Like if you look at it too long and you get the non-offensive. I mean, for mobility and movement, it seems good. Grapple tangles created near the ground now rise into the air shortly after creation. Cool, that's good. That's a good one. And grapple tangle base lifetime increased from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. Oh, yes. Hitting an enemy with a grapple melee that wasn't free now creates a grapple tangle. Not bad. I don't know. We'll have to have a look at that, because I don't know if I'm a fan. I could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. The mobility side of it is good, but then the actual combat side feels like it's rough. but we will have a look at that. Silk Strike, increased passive energy regen by 11%. Nice. And increased damage resistance by 13%. All right, cool. All Hunter subclasses. Marksman Dodge now picks up... Oh, I mean, it always has picked up ammo, I guess. Shows how much I play Hunter. Increased ammo pickup radius from 10 meters to 15 meters. And then Gamblers, in PvP only, reduced the melee energy gain from 50% to 35%. I think overall, it started off like hot. Then it got really cool. Like this was a lot of good changes. And then the rest of it was just like, it was good. It was good. This was needed. This could be crazy. It like the levels went up. Like Solar wasn't even the hottest part of this. And then I went to Void, and then I don't know, Stasis. I think Stasis, and then Arc's very little. This is the one I'm most skeptical on, but we're gonna find out. Moving to Solar for Warlock. Oh, sorry, moving to Warlock. We'll start with Solar. Daybreak Super. Increased damage against combatants by 20%, and projectiles now scorch by default. So you don't need to wear Dawn Chorus. Very good. I don't know if it's gonna get used still more than Well or Song of Flame, but it's good. It's better. Void Walker. Starting with the Super Nova Warp. Charging the primary attack now pulls enemies towards the Warlock. Increased primary attack damage against combatants by 15%, and Dark Blink now releases Weakening Seekers. They keep trying to bring this thing back. They keep trying to give it life, and it's gone. I don't know, man. This is like, okay. Nova Bomb Vortex Super now repeatedly pulls enemies towards it during its lifetime. This is good. Stormcaller. Now, Stormcaller changes the Arc focus on making Stormcaller super damage more competitive. Stormtrance Super increases maximum sustained damage bonus from 50% to 65%. Increased landfall jolt duration from 10 seconds to 16 seconds. Okay, so the Palpatine Super, I don't know. The problem is that roaming supers are just not really ever used, with the exception of how the Stasis Titan is going right now. This is very good. This will help clear things insanely quick, but I don't know about competitive for boss DPS. Chaos Reach Super, increased damage against combatants by 20%. Like, this is here with Geomags. So, in my opinion, yeah, the 15% buff here with Jolt versus 20%. Ionic Sentry no longer blinds the user on creation. Thank goodness. I have been sick of having to take my glasses off every time I'm blinded. No, this is good. I think this is a very good idea. And Lightning Surge Prismatic Aspect only reduced damage against players by 16%. Also very justified. The Chaos Reach and Ionic Sentry, I think, are very, very good. Stormtrance, they're trying to give it love. They're trying to give it some strength, and I think it will be better, and we will have to see how much better, because this is just numbers on a sheet. We need to see it firsthand. Moving to Stasis Shadebinder. Winter's Wrath has never been about the damage, until now. We brought up the DPS to make this competitive with other roaming supers, okay? The Frost Pulse adjustment here is a PvP only change to compensate for the fact that the Warlock can now move while casting it. More on that below. Beg your pardon? Winter's Wrath Super. Increased Shatter Wave damage against frozen combatants by 210%. By golly. This can, I mean, if you do this on Prismatic, that's also got the Super with Star Eaters that could do something. Imagine the shatter damage on, again, the multi-bosses. You might actually use this on the Servitor boss. That's crazy. Frost Pulse, the class ability aspect, where casting your freezes. Reduce player freeze radius from 7.5 meters to 5 meters, and now slows players between 5 meters and 8 meters. Not bad, not bad. Strand Broodweaver. Here we go. This change to Needle Storm is a response to player feedback that is difficult to use against bosses because the needles are often wasted on non-boss targets in the vicinity of the boss. We've updated the needle tracking priority to improve this behavior. Needlestorm needles now prioritize bosses, mini-bosses, and champions over other enemies. Excellent. That was very upsetting to see some of my Needlestorm whiz off to the side because they saw an enemy that I didn't. It was just like eager edge tracking. It's like a simple thing, but it's good to see. Now we go to all Warlock subclasses. Healing Rift and Empowering Rift class ability. Rifts can now be cast while moving at roughly half speed and increase the rift radius from 3.75 to 5 meters. Empowering Rift, again, increased melee and grenade recharge rate while standing in the Empowering Rift by 20%. Healing Rift and PvP only reduced healing rate by 10%. Note, our playtests indicated that allowing the Warlock to move during cast and increasing the rift size made them difficult to deal with. We've taken a light touch with reducing the PvP healing rate and will be monitoring Crucible feedback and data. Okay, that makes sense. Like, their one big weakness was having to stand out in the open if they did their rift. Like, they were a sitting duck. So this is very much justified. I'm very excited to see this. This looks pretty crazy. And Empowering Rift is just better and better. Good God. All right, lastly, we have Titan, starting with Sunbreaker. To see that Titans are enjoying the return of Bonk Hammer builds, we absolutely are. We also want to incentivize hammer throw skill shots, so the ability now does bonus damage at range. Impact damage now increases with range. This damage increases purely additive. The base damage is unchanged. So Lobster and I were making jokes about trying to get as far away from a boss as possible with full stacks. Oryx in Final Stand, and just chucking that bad boy to see how we go. So that's cool. I feel like this would work best with the Malus Panoplius, the Thor exotic. So you can absolutely toss it and then just like retract it very quickly instead of having to like throw it. Cool, you've one-shot that boss. You got to get to it before it blows up. And then you got that. Oh, you missed it. Unlucky. Sorry, this would be cool to try out. Void Sentinel. For the Titans out there who enjoy protecting your allies, this one's for you. Your shield will now auto-reload your allies' weapons and grant them overshield. Ooh. This isn't a full return to the free reload days of old Faction boots. Instead, it will reload all your allies' weapons every 2.5 seconds. When using low mag-sized weapons like rocket launchers, this will require some weapon switching to take full advantage of. Additionally, using this super defensively will now supercharge your shield throw, giving you a big damage payoff for protecting your team. All your allies' weapons, so you can do weapon swapping and it'll just help reload everything. That's good. It's good to see Sentinel Shield actually getting some love here. What the hell? Okay, and additionally, using the super defensively will supercharge your shield throw. Standing behind the shield now periodically reloads all weapons every 2.5 seconds. Grants void overshield to allies behind the shield. Damage bonus while behind the shield reduced from 40% to 25%. Understandable. Blocking attacks now extends super lifetime, and blocking attacks and protecting allies now charge shield throw damage. This puts a bar on your screen that charges as you block attacks and when allies are behind your shield. When charged, your shield throws deals more damage and resets the bar. Holy. So you'd be like blocking. Yeah. Blocking. Yeah. How much you would get, especially with this part, you would get so much back with Ursa Furiosa. Your super would like finish, you put it down, and then you may as well just have full super again. That's insane. Yeah, with full super, 190% recharge rate. Good God. That is cool. I'm excited to try this in a team build. Also, you can extend debuffs if you have, instead of Ursa, if you have the second chance arms, which is they have anti-barrier and apply weaken, you can keep resetting the 35% damage debuff with the shield throws. 35% debuff, 25% damage buff. That's going to be very exciting to try. Arc Striker. Looking at Fists of Havoc. It could use a damage boost. We've added a simple minigame to the attacks to show it some love. Light attacks now increase the next heavy attack's damage. It's something. Stasis Behemoth. The recent Hell of the Storm changes have landed well, but it's dealing a little too much sustained damage in some cases, outclassing every other ability in the game when used during Super. Hence the one PvE nerf we mentioned earlier. When used during Super, increase Super energy cost from 5% to 15%. 30, 45, 60, 75. Yeah, so you get like 7 or 8. That's probably not 8. I think math is failing me right now. 475 is 5. Yeah, you're still getting a couple, but like, yeah, you're not getting as much now. Like 5% was a hooey. Berserker, this PvP only change to Banner of Wars or response to player feedback. The Banner of Wars melee damage bonus is oppressive to fight against. Melee damage bonus against now scales with stacks instead of always being at full strength. Unarmed melees can one-shot at 2 stacks with 200 melee or at 3 stacks with base stats. Alright, cool. So actually, I don't think I went back over Arc and the Rifts. We're kind of the only interesting things. We'll see how this goes. This is just, hey, it's needing the love. It is very much needing the love. Storm Trance could be better than what I think it is. Again, it's all piece of paper. This could be pretty crazy. This is lovely, and these are going to be fun. Getting to see an extra mega healing rift. This is funny as. I hope this actually has some practical use, because hell yeah, let me just absolutely Mickey eat us. This is probably my favorite thing that I've seen. This is probably a clown on it. It's probably better than what I think it's going to be, and I hope that's correct. I hope that's right. I hope I'm proven wrong. This, understandable. And then this, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't blame it. Moving on to the general abilities. Press a grenade no longer suppresses the user, increases detonation damage by 10%. Spike grenade now attaches to combatants. Void fragments reduce the negative stat of Echo of Undermining from -20 grenade to -10. Was Echo of Undermining the grenades weaken? It was definitely understandable to have the -20. -10 seems very good. Echo of Provision now gives +10 grenade stat. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've used so many like void fragments. Echo of Exchange now gives 10 melee stat. Remove negative stats from all other fragments except Echo of Starvation and Echo of Persistence. I think Starvation is the only one I remember. Persistence was the increased void ability buffs, like Invis and such. And Starvation was the Orb of Power or Void Breach. Reach, Giving Devour. Yep, Void had more negative stats than the others. Our goal for subclass build crafting is there should be clear trade-offs without feeling punitive. Invisibility has updated visuals, nice. And then Overshield has a visual effect now that scales with the remaining health. Arc Grenades. Lightning Grenade now attaches to combatants. Flashbang Grenade no longer blinds and increases its detonation by 10%. And Strand Threadlings that lose their target before impact will land and look for another combatant instead of exploding. This will reduce the cases where your big gang of Threadlings all explode in a single dreg. The result is that they feel smarter and more alive. Very good, Threadlings. Very good to see you guys being more productive and fluent. This is cool. The different chain, like nice little buffs and that. Void getting a lot of love. The Hunter as well. There's been a lot of love for Void. The no blinds anymore. Very good for both. And the Ionic Sentry. A lot of very good sets of changes. We're moving on to the next one. Dev Insights Renegades Armor Tuning Preview. Hello from the rewards team. Today we're onto the second of our 3 sandbox preview articles. This time focused on exotic armor changes. We have a selection of exotics to talk about that we have given a bit of love to match with the upcoming new artifact in Renegades. So starting with Hunters, we've got Graviton Forfeit. Graviton Forfeit was once a workhorse exotic in Destiny 1, but has struggled to find value in Destiny 2, especially after Void 3.0. With how abundant access to invisibility is nowadays, we've shifted this exotic into a kill streak / invis streak exotic that charges up your neutral game as you fade in and out of invisibility. Now, grants improved grenade, melee, and class ability recharge rates for a moderate duration for each time you become invisible. Effects stack up to 3 times. Effect does not deplete while you are invisible. At 3 stacks of the buff, successive triggers additionally grant a portion of overshield. Interesting. That's pretty cool. I feel like this would go crazy in Prismatic, but I know the whole gold is for Void, but it's also not that, don't translate for me. It's not that difficult to go invis in Prismatic either, but it'll be good to see. Oh, also one I'm excited to see, Omnioculus. Given the success of other more support-centric exotics, we're leading Omnioculus into a more potent support role to allow hunters to fill in a bit of that more selfless fire team role. Granting the effects of Beyond the Veil to allies now also starts their health and shield regen. This only applies to allies and not to the hunter themselves. Shax is watching. This is good as well. Like, getting the melee back to always go invis was good, but people could just still die through the invis. Yes, I do also like that they're giving it more than just the, hey, you're invis for a bit longer. Like, that was pretty stable for me when I was getting Shalsey or Andy his build. When he just started, like, properly coming back in Witch Queen and I stayed at his place, I got him to use Graviton Forfeit, and it was just such an easy and free thing. But it's good to see that now there's more benefits towards going invis. And also with this Omnioculus, the health regen and such will be very good. Just hopefully it doesn't immediately stop. Hey, like, you do this anyway, and it's like the health regen begin and then stops because splash damage, like, immediately. I hope that's not the case. Lucky Raspberry and Arc Bolt grenades, for that matter, have been out of the limelight for a long while now due to their general slowness and low damage. We've done a pass over both Arc Bolt Grenade itself and Lucky Raspberry to help with some of their consistency issues, as well as bring them into today's build crafting options. Arc Bolt Grenade ability, increase projectile lifetime of chain projectile. This helps hit consistency on moving targets that are near the outer edge of the chain range. Now activates 0.1 seconds faster after the initial sensor sweep from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 seconds, and increased max chain range of the initial chain from 7 meters to 10 meters. Okay, so the actual grenade itself reaches further, activates faster, and is more consistent with hitting. Okay, I never really used Lucky Raspberry. I was thinking that's what Andy was using, but it was actually Shinobu's Vow with the skip grenades. And that's one that he enjoys a lot, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be in here. Might not. It's still pretty good. The exotic armor now always applies Jolt on Arc Bolt grenade hits. Returns Arc Bolt energy on any application of the Jolt debuff, or triggering the Jolt chains on a target already affected by the debuff. Nice. Okay, so it's going to be pretty easy to, in the similar way how Shinobu's gets its grenade energy back. So it'd be good to be able to just spam it more and more. So it's good to see that. Orpheus Rig increases super jet duration from 16 seconds to 20 seconds. Oh, that is very good. Just a simple extra 4 seconds. And then Gemini Gestures. Oh my god, do I have the weapons tuning? I missed one. I missed another one. Oh, brother. All right. That's going to be a long one. Gemini Gestures has been updated to use the new Universal Disorient verb. Keep the debuff effect versus players as similar as possible. We gave it some adjustments. Increase Disorient duration against players from 0.5 seconds to 1 second. In addition to applying Disorient, Misdirection also removes opposing players' HUD for 2 seconds. Increase Disorient duration against PvE combatants from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. It's still Gemini Gestures. So I don't think it'll be that crazy. I don't think it'll be anything. excited for these two and Lucky Raspberry. Pretty much, it was four for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 for 5. Very good. Very excited. Titan Exotics. Arbor Warden hasn't managed to find much of a niche since its introduction to the game. We've made some changes that will let players more aggressively claim space using the Barricades with good planning. Picking up 3 orbs of power enhances your next Barricade. Enhanced Barricade spawns a Y pattern of 3 of your equipped Barricade on Barricade detonation. This does work with Barricade modifications like Drenger's Lash or Storm's Keep. Drenger's Lash. Storm's Keep, I don't think would be that much. It's cool. Drenger's Lash firing out in a Y would be funny to see. Yeah, I don't know. It still falls into a difficult spot of it's Barricade the grenade. But I'm sure it'll find ways to be niche and be used appropriately. I hope so, because it does look pretty nice. Dune Marches have always been a strong choice in the Crucible, but have not had much of a home in PvE. With the introduction of Bolt Charge and Storm's Keep in recent releases, we wanted to expand access to Bolt Charge to other thematically appropriate sources, and Dune Marches were a perfect fit. Increase maximum chain count from 4 to 7. Each chain hit now grants 2 Bolt Charge stacks, 3 with the fragment, and glaive melees can now also trigger the chain. Okay. Dune Marches getting some love. I feel like it goes to 7, so you can get 14 stacks. Or 3. What 7 times 3 is 21. So you can proc Bolt Charge twice if the gods permit. Ursa Furiosa. We're making some lighter quality of life improvements and bug fixes to Ursa Furiosa. In particular, the difficulty of an activity scaled how much each absorbed attack scaled the super refund, but not the grenade refund, which made that part of the perk feel weaker and easier content. Interesting. Okay. Should now properly gain super energy if damage is blocked while the player has an overshield. Super energy stored is no longer scaled based on enemy difficulty. Super energy refund meter fill rate is doubled in at power activities. Super energy refund meter fill rate is buffed by about 13.6% in minus 40 power activities. Okay, so just fixing the grenade up. So the grenade didn't seem to be coming back as it should have during Furiosa. Yeah, during Unbreakable. Second chance. In activities without barrier champions, second chance can be a bit lackluster. While a second charge of shield throw and applying weaken is somewhat powerful, Sentinel Titans does not have much access to melee energy generation, so it struggles to get much value out of either effect. We're giving it a new lease on life with a shield throw centric gameplay loop that doubles down on the Righteous Defender fantasy. Added, spawns void breaches on shield throw final blows and grants shield throw melee energy on picking up any void breach. Okay, so we're back to pure void. The Sentinel Shield super's ranged attack, shield throw, now also weakens with this exotic equip. Yep. Okay, I thought it already did, I'm going to be honest, when I was talking about it earlier. Fix the bug where anti-barrier shield throw melee would not bounce to more than 2 targets. No, this is good. I like this. I've wanted to have more of a reason to run second chances. Armamentarium. While a second grenade charge is somewhat powerful, it's hard to justify choosing Armamentarium over an exotic that gives ability energy in today's sandbox. We're adding another ability to it that is focused on the armaments and ordnance fantasy that the exotic suggests. Now grants 10% grenade energy on weapon final blow, and now reloads the player's equipped weapon when using a grenade ability. So Armamentarium just gives you Demolitionist flat out, which is very good. I mean, having an exotic for Demolitionist lets you use sort of like, say, for Year-Tide Apex or the Mitre multi-tool, and that you could use your heal clip Incan or heal clip burning or heal clip chaos reshape. That was only for the Year-Tide, but lets you just use other weapons and not have to worry about getting a demolitionist perk on them. So it's not bad if you want to revolve around a grenade military fantasy. Lion Rampants. Given the current state of mobility in the sandbox, we thought that Lion Rampants restriction to only allow hip fire shooting while in lift is no longer necessary. Fly free, fellow Titans. We can ADS now while shooting in lift. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to be, but that's good. I'm all for it. I think it's just nice. I think it's neat. Peacekeepers! We wanted to equalize the Peacekeepers mobility bonus with other exotics and mods that grant increases to mobility. We also accidentally removed a fan favorite hidden interaction from this exotic when we corrected an audio issue during the Edge of Fate. Okay, so we've re-added this interaction. Increased mobility bonus from 25 to 30 and re-added the ability to swap load SMGs. So I think that was when you ran out of ammo. If you switched to a weapon and then immediately swapped back, it would refill the mag in like 2 seconds. So you don't completely empty the mag. You like fire, swap, fire, and then it like refills it. And then you just keep doing that. So it could work with, oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it. I have it. This thing's on. Where's my Titan? No, that's not it. The Antidate. Like Antidate, like Antidate and Baradiad or something. Like do some double SMG hot swap combo. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I think overall these are cool. Arbor, we'll have to see. I don't know how much that'll change it. Doom Marches getting Bolt Charge love is good. Ursa buff, nice. Second chance buff, nice. I loved Ursa's. Oh my goodness. Armamentarium, cool, cool. Very good, like, basic one. Lion Rampants, neat. And Peacekeepers, mwah, beautiful. I can't wait. Now, we move on to Nothing Manacles. Oh, sorry, Warlock Exotics, starting with Nothing Manacles. So these things got a buff already. Yeah, adjusted along with those made 9.15 to alleviate some of these inconsistencies. And now it's got a new perk that lets you cascade your scatter grenades and grant some deserved value when paired with a Chaos Accelerant. So, Charge Grenade now creates 4 more Seekers, increase Charge Seeker damage versus combatants by 25%, improve Charge Seeker tracking versus combatants, and the lifetime. Nice. Charge Scatter Grenade ability, faster final projectile speed, cool. And the exotic armor now spawns additional Scatter Seekers on Scatter Grenade kills, and the effect can chain. Scatter Grenades, getting some love. That is very good. Brybinds. Brybinds enable a fun and unique playstyle for Void Warlock, but like many kill-oriented exotics, it struggles to scale into higher difficulty content. We've made some adjustments to it to help build to its maximum benefit quicker and also give a bit more value earlier in its gameplay loop. Now needs fewer kills to max out the Brybind's Void Soul damage bonus. Ooh, okay. 4 to 4 from 6. Additionally, the Brybind's Void Soul now does more damage based on the amount of time it has been deployed on target. So it can go up to 30% damage after 10 seconds. Like up to 30% more damage. Okay, so it has like an extra sort of leech effect. I don't know how much the Void Souls actually last for. the children of the old gods. But this could be good. This could be interesting. Storm Dancer's Brace. Potency is almost tied to the power of Storm Trance itself. Yeah, we saw Storm Trance getting some buffs, so this could also get benefited. While Storm Trance is equipped, now grants Bulk Charge for arc ability hits when amplified, and Storm Trance damage bonus now builds up on hits instead of kills. Increase max count to compensate. Now needs 30 hits to cap. Top end damage bonus is unchanged. Okay, so this with it, I mean, could potentially do some damage. It's just roaming supers like for a DPS thing. It'll be cool to see. Winter's Guile. Warlocks have a much harder time scaling into melee-centric builds than both Titans and Hunters. Rather than updating Winter's Guile to essentially be the newer version of Worm Gods, but for Warlocks, we decided on a more arcane twist. Melee and finisher final blows now grant bonus melee damage. Melees grant 1 stack, while finishers grant 3. Max is 10 stacks for a 400% melee damage buff. Stacks are lost one at a time that lasts 4.5 seconds. Once you reach 10 stacks, immediately gain 1 melee charge and enter Warlord's Rage when you activate your melee ability. You have 10 seconds to activate it. While you're in it, gain dramatically increased melee regen speed, gain faster melee speed. Melee damage bonus increases by 500%. Last 10 seconds and then lose all stacks once Warlord's Rage ends. So this with Song of Flame, and do you bring a 1-2 punch shotgun? I feel like you do. I guess you have to see how quickly the regen is. Yeah, this with Song of Flame, if you speed it up even more, the melee could just go crazy. Maybe we'll have to give this a go and just see what you can do with it. Makaiodoxia. We've asked for a super damage increasing exotic along the likes of Cuirass or Nighthawk. We believe that this is less interesting as an effect for a brand new exotic and that we could instead offer this as a new piece of a pre-existing one. Also, what is a Needlestorm if not a bunch of supercharged arcane needles? Hitting a target with 5 Needlestorm super projectiles now will also activate the Stylostixis suspending burst. Okay, cool. The actual do melees to suspend. The burst caused by the spider deals radically increased damage to all targets caught in the radius. This burst shall allow Needlestorm to feel like a damage contender with the likes of Cuirass Thunder Crash. That's very good. Barodiad build is going to flourish even higher now. But then also you just use it for damage instead of just using it for Barrow, but that's still crazy. And Dawn Chorus. This is a spoiler for next week's ability tuning. We're buffing Solar Warlock's Daybreak damage by 20% and letting Daybreak scorch targets by default. Essentially, we're shifting some of the Dawn Chorus functionality into the base super. The end result is that Dawn Chorus and Daybreak's damage is being increased by 5%, and the combo will now allow you to cause ignitions with a single projectile. Okay, see this, yeah, okay, this is what I was saying. So they buffed Daybreak, which is good. It's good that it needed it, and then you still would want to use Dawn Chorus with it because it's 5% and it just ignites every time. It's increased and total scorch stacks increased. So yeah, you're just going to be able to smash enemies with it and just ignite everything, which is cool. It's to be much easier to add clear with it if that's what they're aiming for. If it's not, then I hope to see it be like incredibly strong. Maybe I end up doing some cheeky boss damage with it. All right, number 3, which is actually number 1. I just have these all in the wrong order. All right, so kicking off with the first of 3 articles, we're doing weapon changes. So starting with HUD buff priority update. Most of the characters' HUD buffs that appear against the left side of the screen have received a priority iteration. It is now much less likely that a player with lots of buffs will have an important buff hidden by a less important one. Get to the back of the line, Void Breach cooldown. This is especially annoying when you were doing, I feel like unless it got changed, you were doing, say, like warlords that didn't get the top buff change, where warlords was like you would get the countdown before damage, and then when you would get Anima's blessing, it was down in the left, and then it would disappear because you were being told you were radiant, or you were being told you had armor charges, and then you wouldn't know when damage ended, so then someone would throw their super right at the end and it's immune. Which definitely sounds like a us problem, but it's good to have priority now. It's very needed. Artifacts new gear bonus. New gear bonus no longer scales with gear tier. Bonus weapon damage for new gear weapons is now 5%. Bonus incoming damage reduction goes up to 10%, 2% per equipped piece. All exotics now count as new gear. Yes, this is good. Now we can just use whatever exotic we want and not having to be restricted, which is what people want. People don't like being restricted. This part though, like, yeah, you're gonna have to, but I'm sure there are gonna be plenty of people just playing with all the blasters and such for Star Wars, and this isn't going to be that much of a bummer. Like, sure, okay, yeah, I'm going to miss out on all the stuff that I'm using now. Like, I think Mint's not getting the damage buff, and Yeartide's not getting it anymore. Stasis freeze. We've updated how frozen targets take increased or decreased damage from weapons based on their ammo type and fixed a handful. Increased Ariana's Vow and Leviathan's Breath bonus damage for frozen targets from 5% to 10%. Fixed an issue where Forerunner, Micro Missile, Pulse Rifles, and Noob Malpaeus did not deal any increased damage to frozen targets. Fighting Lion and Alithanim, though primary ammo weapons will still get the 10% damage buff. Okay, nice. That's cool. That is good to see. I didn't realize that was a thing or an issue with stasis freezes, but I think I didn't really freeze too much stuff. Or I just disregard it because I let the minion build do its thing. Combat Flare socket. Updated Combat Flare to be reordered under weapon cosmetics, returning the shader to its left side. Sorry for breaking muscle memory. Is this the... Yes. Oh, the Combat Flare is like the tier 5 thing, I'm pretty sure. That and it's moved. Okay. Disorient. Disorient, as we read in a previous one, is now being made a universal keyword, subclass verb. So to remove confusion and to put it all under one family. So for example, shield disorient, flash counter, bewildering burst, photo inhibition, disorienting grenades, concussive rounds, reactive shock, Gemini jesters. Additional notes: shield disorient and photo inhibition no longer have a damage impulse. This damage impulse did roughly 1 damage and was using content from another gameplay atom. To avoid potential issues, we have removed this. Exceptions: Helm of Same 14 will be exempt from this update, leaving it as it will have no effect on its gameplay, but under the hood it won't be considered disorient in the same way as everything else listed here will be. Planning on giving this exotic further attention in a future release. Okay, so no changes to Helm yet, but I am eager to see what they do because I remember using it a lot and I thought it was fantastic. It's definitely going to need a lot of upgrades because if I remember correctly, some of the changes they did were not that adequate for it. Touch of Malice's Darkness Bolt versus players is exempt from this update and will continue to be its own bespoke debuff with a unique screen effect. Against combatants, this will continue to arc blind as normal. Okay, cool. So it's good to see that they're trying to make it less confusing and have everything fit under the same family. Ammo system. In PvE, we want to focus on 3 main things: giving support and objective players more ways to earn ammo that don't rely on getting kills directly, fixing some bugs with specific weapons that were making it harder to earn ammo, and increasing a handful of exotic weapons and weapon archetypes by shifting their ammo economies. Reintroduced ammo scout mods on the helmet. Very much needed, like, especially for raids and such. You're one of the people doing a majority of the mechanics, and you never really get a chance to do the ad clear. So you come down begging for ammo, but everyone that has pools of it can't give any to you, which will spawn an ammo brick for your allies whenever you fill your corresponding meter. The amount of ammo in the brick is dependent on the number of scout mods you have equipped. So, okay. Because, yeah, the chest now is ammo generation. So, I feel like this with, like, triple scout and then the scavenger on your legs could fill you up pretty quickly. Granting buffs. Radiant Overshield to allies will grant a small amount of ammo meter progress when they land final blows while buffed. Nice. Fix an issue where glaive projectile kills were not getting correctly scaled by the ammo generation stat. Fix an update where the machine guns and Lord of Wolves were getting less ammo than intended from scavenger mods. Oh, really? Machine guns as in Thunderlord and then Lord of Wolves? No, I'm kidding. Increase the following exotic weapons ammo per brick amounts: Truth, Heir Apparent, The Colony, Prospector, Darcy, and Salvation's Grip. Yes, the GOAT. Salvation's Grip buffed. This is what we've been waiting for. Increase the following weapon subfamilies ammo per brick amounts: Heavy Burst, Slug Shotguns, and Rapid Fire Shotguns. Nice, okay, cool. Reduce the following weapon subfamilies amount per enhanced brick amounts: Micro Missile, Pulse Rifles. Understandable, honestly. We're reducing a few weapons perks ammo generation bonuses. These used to provide such large numerical bonuses because the inventory stat values needed to pass certain thresholds to have an effect, but that at every point of ammo generation matters, their buffs are outsized. Air Trigger, reduced base ammo generation increased to 20 from 30 and reduced the enhanced to 30 from 40. Field prep reduced and Envious Arsenal also reduced. Yeah, okay. You just giving us less reason to use these. Like it's still gonna obviously help towards it, but they're just not needed anymore. They're just dead ever since as well the field prep changed from reserves to generation. And say with air trigger and that, like as soon as it went to generation, it's not difficult to generate ammo. I have nothing on my body to generate ammo, and I just milk it out whenever I'm playing. So I don't know. It's good that everything is getting buffed overall, but then it sucks that these are just redundant now. It's just killed a lot of like the exotics that I did make. Also not exotics, but like weapons. Crucible increased the lifetime of dropped ammo in bricks from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Sidearms. More semi-automatic. Okay, they just got the firing animation altered for longer barreled sidearms. Some machine guns increased stability on the controller and increased damage fall off. Pulse rapid fires, pulses, increase base damage and then increase the crit damage. Bows need help. Yes, they do. The exotic ones are the only ones worth running. I keep getting legendary bows, like good rolls, but then I just have no incentive to use them. So recurve bows, rescale the draw time to fire faster at base. So faster draw time, faster draw time. Compound bows, faster draw time, faster draw time, faster draw time. Fusion rifles have rescaled their charge times, so rapid fires went up. Okay, sorry. Reduction to PvP, so slightly slower charge times, but increase of damage. 660 to 667, 780 to 800, 960 to 967, and then precision adaptives and aggressives got a PvE buff. That's a lot. And then high impact got their buff from 6.7 to 15%. Shotguns, more prevalent in Crucible, have almost all their usage focused on the precision frame pellet and have fallen behind others, so they're trying to buff up the other ones. So 2.5 PvE on rapid fires and increase the ammo per brick. Lightweights increased pellet damage by 1, and then extra 2.5, extra 2.5, extra 7.5 with 1.3. So aggressives. Okay, it seems like these could get some. Oh, could be pretty good. Slug shotguns. Pinpoint slug shotguns like rapid fire fusion rifles have become a bit too effective. So reduced aim assist cone by 1% at the low end of the stat and 3% at the high end of the stat. Corrected the RPM displays in game to be more accurate. Increased PvE bonus from 8.3 to 11. Fixed an issue where assault mag would increase RPM by 50. So that wasn't intended, and that's a bummer because that was the only reason I saw a lot of people going for rapid fire slugs. Pinpoint slugs decreased damage against players by 6%, increased ADS damage of fall off scalar from 1.2 to 1.25, heavy bursts 1.2 to 1.3, and also increased the ammo per brick. Snipers have reduced flinch received from players by 40%. You're not just immediately snapping your neck back as you get tickled by like one shot of the 3 pulse rifles. That's pretty good. Rocket pulses. Debuting with Edge of Fate, this new weapon type has become near ubiquitous with the Connect slot. In reviewing our data, players feel almost pressured to run this weapon to fit the meta due to its ammo uptime, strong damage profile, and ease of use. With Mint Retrograde being in the Connect slot around 45% of the time, we feel this is a bit unhealthy and too dominant. Therefore, we're going to let it keep its power on the battlefield, but rein in the ammo economy by reducing reserves and the amount of ammo required per enhanced brick slightly. With buff to other weapons like shotguns, changes to a suite of exotics, and new weapons to chase with novel gameplay and renegades, we feel this makes for a more diverse selection of loadouts and power fantasies. Players who really favor Mint Retrograde or want to try their hands with a new rocket pulse in Renegades. Buildcraft options are expanded slightly for ammo generation with scouts returning and more assist play contributing, meaning ammo uptime can be solved for. We don't make this change lightly and we'll be keeping a close eye on reception as folks analyze the overall meta shakeup and theorycraft what builds they want to construct. Reduce the base reserve ammo from 18 to 14 and reduced enhanced ammo per brick in PvE from 6 to 5. I feel like the damage maybe needed to be chopped a little bit. Like, this feels like a little, don't do that again, naughty. Rocket pulses are just, they're so good. There's no reason not to run them. And then Renegades comes, we're just going to run 2 of them. No, I'm kidding, we won't. But yeah, it's, I don't know, I guess we'll have to see how much of a detriment this is. Like, they do run out of ammo pretty quickly, especially for, like, boss damage. But just in general, they're good. And yeah, you'll be able to get plenty of ammo back. Swords, with the slashing behind us, we took a look at some underlying weirdnesses that has persisted in swords since their inception way back in The Taken King. Now, swords when empty should perform more like swinging an empty hilt than swinging your fist. Reduced empty sword swing damage. Empty sword swings are no longer scaled by melee buffs. Damn it. Fixed an issue with Ascension was activating sword perks. Okay. I'm excited for some of those weapons to get some love. And I'm also excited for these exotics to get some love. Ace of Spades. Ace has been long potent in the Crucible, but has been overshadowed by many things in PvE in today's Destiny. We've made some buffs to Memento Mori and Ace's own version of Firefly to help it compete against the likes of Sunshot and its kin. It's what K would have wanted. Increased extra PvE damage bonus of Memento Mori from 18% to 30%. That extra 12% sounds very good. Ace of Spades Firefly increased maximum damage in PvE from 65 to 100. Increase minimum damage in PvE from 0 to 20. Increase area of effect from 6 to 7.5. Increase damage fall off from 30% of the area effect to 50. We'll keep full damage for more distance. Cool. I'm actually excited to see how this goes. This could bring it back in a beautiful way. Hawkmoon promises big rewards for perfect accuracy, but this has not felt very worthwhile in PvE specifically. We've added a damage bonus gained per stack of paracausal charge to further reward pacing your shots and remaining accurate in PvE. This also allows you to go for final blows instead of precision hits if you already have high stacks later in the mag. Now gets a PvE damage bonus per stack of paracausal charge. Maxes out at 70% at times 8 paracausal charge and does not include the final paracausal shot. I mean, yeah, it seems like it could go very well. Hawkmoon's never really been good for PvE, so it's nice to see this. I don't know how beneficial it'll be, but it is pretty good. Osteostriga. We're halving Poison Burst cooldown and seeing where this lands. This is a weapon that can dominate the PvE meta, especially in conjunction with Necrotic Grip, so we're being a bit cautious here, but we also don't want to leave long-time fans of this weapon feeling like it's being gutted. Reduce the cooldown of the Poison Burst on Osteostriga Final Blow from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. It's good. It's good. It was absolutely neutered to the ground, so I don't know how good 2 seconds is going to be. And I feel like, I don't remember, but I feel like Necrotic also just didn't spread the poison anymore if it was from Osteo. I feel like that was also something that happened, but that could have been a fever dream. We'll have to see how 2 seconds goes, because there's so many dominant things now that it makes sense they obviously don't want Osteo to join that group, but if everything's broken, then nothing is broken. Fire it away. Cirrus Regime can now be special reloaded at will to swap between spinning up and dual speed receiver behaviors. Good. Add a new hipfire reticle element that corresponds with each firing mode. Good. Grants bonus special ammo progress with spun up kills while using spinning up. Grants bonus heavy ammo progress on dual receiver kills while ADS. Good. That's good. I like how they're doing that. It gives, I don't know how beneficial it's going to be in PvE, but I think that's a good change. I think that could be a start. We thought Revision 0 could use a little more spice, adding some of the newer kinetic aligned effects. Hunter's Trace rounds now create a small damaging shockwave and exhaust targets on impact. Okay, that, what is that, the hold reload? That could be good. Touch of Malice, increase the amount of healing provided by the intrinsic perk. Cool. I forgot that it has healing built in. Reduce the they did that recently, and I feel like it actually wasn't terrible, but I never used it, and I need to, because I think I need to get the catalyst. Reduce the number of kills needed to trigger the healing in PvE, and activating Charge with Blight will now fire the healing impulse. Cool. Okay, some more survivability with this thing, because you want to stay on that one mag. Collective Obligation, my baby. In the right build, Collective Obligation is potent, but asks quite a lot of the player. Current version requires you and your fire team to provide a source of volatile, weaken, and suppression for the weapon to leech from to get the most out of it, which isn't always practical or feasible with currently viable builds or available artifact perk. Relax the requirement, and it's going to open up to more prismatic or non-void builds, and relaxes some of the needs to deploy every debuff yourself. Added a very slow rate of leeching effect off unaffected targets. Give each effect in order of effectiveness with around a full mag of hits. So, okay, so it gives you the volatile effect first, and then the weaken, and then the suppression, and it'll fill up your 3 little meters. Also charges the leech mode at the same rate. Okay, cool. That is pretty good, because like I know the only way a lot of the time was to have a suppressing aid to do the suppression side and whatnot. Like Titan was very easy to get all 3. Hunter was kind of able to, and I think Warlock the same. Symmetry now builds bolt charge with less than 1 stack of dynamic charge in alt fire mode. Now grants more stacks at 10. Now can spend bolt charge with 1 stack of dynamic charge in alt fire mode and increase the base reload by 20. Alright, cool. Symmetry could have some promising things for it. A golden gun or still hunt. Buffed still hunts golden gun damage while using Nighthawk by 40%. Allowed sniper's meditation to buff still hunts golden gun shots. Good god. Okay, that's ridiculous. Still hunt's back, baby. Still hunt is back. My goodness. The Witness is going to be so easy next season. Next expansion. Then we'll do the solo because I'm crutched up. Witherhood, my child. Witherhood has been feeling a bit lackluster since the nerf to autoloading holster, but prior to the nerfs, it was not problematic. Plus, area denial grenade launchers can cover more of the battlefield a bit more easily. Rather than simply reverting that nerf, we thought we'd break the bank and let it shine as an iconic swap-focused weapon. Reduce silent alarm autoload from 3.5 seconds to 2. Ooh, yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. I mean, well, it was just the mini finalities auger, so am I even going to be allowed to use this thing? But I'm excited to see if there is a possibility of this getting some love and use again. Duality. Duality is the best of both worlds style exotic, but we think it could use a little better in terms of its hipfire effectiveness. Okay, 6%. Chaperone. Change Chaperone to use the rapid fire slug frame damage and rate of fire profile instead of the... Okay. Oh, yeah, no, because, I mean, it technically is that. It was the start of it. Ruinous Effigy. Catalyst now grants a 30%, 15% in PvP, damage buff to the Trace Rifle when killing anything with the Transmutation Orb or damaging a mini-boss / boss / champion with the Transmutation Orb. Okay. A 30% damage buff. Not, like, obviously raid damage, but that could be very good for, like, your conquests and such. Izanagi's Burden. Special reload once again scales with the reload speed stat. Oh my goodness. That's good. I used to do that, and it was fantastic, and then they got rid of it. Easy swap builds? Absolutely. Tessellation. I've been trying to use this more. This fusion rifle offers a variety of strong subclass synergy options, but can feel sluggish to use due to the special reload. While we wanted to maintain the longer special reload times due to the power of the shot, we opted to reduce the friction of it in other ways while offering additional benefits to further encourage use of Transcendence. Property undecidable. Final blows now also grant 2.5% light and dark Transcendence energy, and grant bonus time to Transcendence while active. Fix an issue when Transcendence grenade chunk energy gains were not scaling based on the grenade stat. Property irreducible. While Transcendence is active, special reload shots now deal 25% more damage when combined with the Transcendent damage buff. That sounds very good. Special reloading now reloads the mag from reserves, and you can now special reload while you have 0 ammo in the mag. I feel like I might need to use this more. Catalyst increases applied scorch stack from 15 plus 5 to 70 plus 10, and slowed stacks from 30 to 80. What the hell? That's huge. Subclass keyword application is now near imminent, though it still does not apply before the primary explosion. Okay. Updated the timing of the reload for Tessellation and Jotun so that the ammo is added to the mag slightly sooner. Deathbringer. Reduce the spread of the secondary cluster munitions after they are created. Okay, to try and make them hit more so you can do your little drop. Black Talon. Heavy attacks now suppresses on hit. If the target is already suppressed, it spreads to nearby target. Catalyst. On hit gives a 10% damage boost per void debuff on the target for 2 seconds. Reduced heavy attack cost to 3 ammo from 4. Added Duelist's Trance trait and increased max reserves ammo. Is Black Talon back? Was Black Talon ever here? Is Black Talon in the room with us right now? Per void debuff. I mean, if you can get all 3 of them on, then that's another 30% damage buff on top of everything. So it could be good. Could be interesting. Deterministic Chaos has a good ammo economy and decent total damage, but it needs to be reloaded frequently and lacks a distinct gameplay fantasy next to Thunderlord. New effect, releasing the trigger after a Vexadecimal projectile pulls 12 rounds into the magazine from reserves. I think that is the 12, right? You fire 12 and it does the blow up. Worldline 0 with the changes. Face a frustrating bug causing the Tesseract attack to deal much less damage than intended. Ooh. Remedied that with the following. Fix an issue where Tesseract was only hitting 1 instance of damage instead of the usual 5. Yeah, that'll do it. Increase the damage instances via Tesseract from 5 to 7. Reduce the time between these instances from 0.66 to 0.44. Fix an issue where chaining Tesseract was inconsistent if the player had the Worldline 0 Catalyst equipped. Reduce the cost of chain Tesseract blinks from 20% sword energy to 10%. Look, sounds like Worldline could be alright. Could be getting some buffs. Could be pretty nice. Wolfsbane. Shipped a little under where we wanted, so increase the damage of light attack by 8.5%, so it's closer to Lament or aggressive swords. Increase nano assault duration from 10 to 12 seconds, which makes the tornadoes a little more forgiving. Increase swarm NATO damage by 20%. Retuned axe handles. Increase damage resistance on each handle by 5%. Increase damage resistance linger time from 3 to 5. Reduced internal cooldown on subroutine recursion extra nanites from 5 to 2. Adjusted damage increase when used on afflicted targets to ramp slightly quicker. Okay, Wolfsbane could probably, yeah. I feel like it needed it. Like, it was cool, but then also you needed to do the interaction with it and Outbreak Perfected to really see any damage. So hopefully this helps out in the long run. Into the perks. Rangefinder now adds 10 range when aiming down sights. Rampage now only loses 1 stack of the damage buff when the timer expires. This includes Huckleberry. Huckleberry, oh god, I didn't mean it like that. Huckleberry's back. That's good, because I mean, it was always such a big thing, and then you would just lose it, and it was so hard to rebuild that momentum. Box breathing has fallen behind a PvE. It now provides a flat 40% buff to your next shot precision damage for all existing weapons, and 30% for the new heavy ammo sniper. This works out to be a buff for 10% for existing snipers and linear fusions, and a small nerf for scouts. Okay. No, never really use box breathing anyway, so... Shot swap fails to provide enough of a benefit to feel worth choosing over other swap-focused perks. Swap benefits are now more potent. These values are 0.7 ready speed, 0.65 enhanced, previously 0.75, now set 0.7, 0.7, 0.65. You now only lose 1 charge on stow. This is a whole lot of things. things for something that I don't think is still going to be used. I'm going to be honest. Previously, you would lose one on stow and one on ready. As a result, the maximum number of charges that can be held has been reduced from 8 to 6. This is an effective increase, buffing 6 swaps at 6 charges instead of the previous 4 swaps at 8 charges. The HUD buff no longer appears while stowed. To maintain parity between each other, the Sturm catalyst has received some minor tweaks. Now loses the charge on stow. This should have no negative impact on the number of swaps this will benefit. The HUD buff now only appears while Sturm or a together forever weapon is in hand. Sleight of hand, another one that probably will not see any use. Increase the duration of the buff to 8.5 seconds, 9 enhanced from 7.5. You no longer need to swap to the weapon within 5 seconds of getting a kill. Instead, the buff timer will activate upon your next swap to the weapon regardless of how long ago your last kill was. Added a timer to the HUD buff. Fixed an issue where you can potentially lose newly gained stacks if you swapped off the weapon while the buff was active. Okay. When Bray Legacy was made for Vesper's host, it was tuned particularly for the weapons it was on. At the time, these weapons all had dependable amounts of damage instances they might be able to cause on each trigger pull. With its expansion out to other weapons now, we've seen it dramatically overperform when paired with perks that break this expectation. So we are tuning it accordingly for just the outliers. Increased gains for rockets from 10% per rocket to 17. No longer activates from explosions caused by perks. It's still in. Okay. Oh my god, I had thought that this was out as a this week gone thing, but I could have been using this to farm grenades on bosses. Damn it. Well, it's a shame to see this go, but honestly, you can so easily with the Idealism just get stuff back. Vice Stinger was newly added to shotguns and fusions in the Edge of Fate, but didn't work properly with them. We fixed this. Fixed. Bewildering Burst with the changes to Disorient listed above. Disorient duration increased from 0.5 to 1 against players. Shield Disorient is now a verb. We apply it more broadly. Fixed an issue where these perks will not apply the Disorient effect to bosses. And that is that one. Holy, that is a lot of text. I'm excited to use some of these exotic weapons. Ace of Spades, definitely. Osteo, we'll see how bad the cooldown is. Thoros seems like it could be very interesting. Touch of Malice. I need to use that more. I had like a full Void Devour thing going. Maybe that comes back. But all in all, I think the weapon stuff is very good. Like all of it, especially my ammo. And lastly, I felt we needed to put in this week in Destiny. It is the last one before Renegades. December 2 is next Tuesday, which for Australia it's Wednesday, December 3rd. But that's fine. We don't worry about that. Time flies when you're a light bearer. So just going over stuff. New armor and weapons. New trailer, new Vidoc. The Renegades launch trailer. Beautiful. Equilibrium, Dungeon Race, and Twitch drop. We'll be hosting Dungeon Zone live from Bungie HQ on December 13th, which is when the Equilibrium dungeon drops. The contest mode. I hope that Shulzy and I will be good for that. And then either Squishy or the Gamer will return. One. Just interviews with them. And then you're going to watch the official one to get this emblem. It's kind of cool. The official Dungeon Race will begin at 10 a.m. PT. It's like 3 a.m. for us. It always is. Daring players to conquer Renegade's unique challenge. The trophies are pretty cool. The registration form, I don't think we're going to get first. We're not even going to start at 3, so it'll probably be done by the time we get there. I feel like this might be a hint of something. Now for the main thing that we are here for. I'm just going to quickly check through. Yeah, the blasters, the Praxic Blade. I had the season pass machine gun. This thing is cool. I'll go over this quickly before we go back to the artifact, because this is what we're mainly here for. Yeah, weapons being brought back. The new Arc Mint Retrograde, so it's like the Blueberry Retrograde or something. Blue Raspberry. Oh yeah, they did show off the Dawning Armor and that. Okay, all right, we'll just go top to bottom. The new Renegade artifact, so we can see it sort of here, the encrypted data disk. There's a lot of sword stuff. Nothing in the front for the swords, but the Renegade's artifact will provide some potent boosts for Guardian's kinetic, arc, and void toolkits, while also focusing on making your weapons the most dependable tools. Remember, these weapons are your life. Try not to lose them. To pair with Guardian's new Praxic Blade comes a trio of sword mods emphasizing unique strike combos to gain potent payouts such as increased damage, unstoppable capabilities, or a whirlwind of blades surrounding the user. These mods also play well with the void options on offer, emphasizing weakening applications via melee and sword hits and permeating that across large groups via the new Void Infestation Column 5 mod. Also focus more heavily on kinetic as a focus element with its mod support, emphasizing kinetic as hard-hitting, ammo-focused lead. Kinetic Synthesis sees the return of a grey brick many players will have not seen drop in long time. Am I reading this right? Primary ammo flashbacks. This helps supplement the ammo economy on kinetics and pairs well with the new kinetic heavy sniper. Kinetic's power culminates in column 5 kinetic rupture, creating weak points that explode when struck with enough force. Alright, so we have anti-barrier hand cannon, anti-barrier sniper, overload pulse, overload SMG, unstoppable bow. Column 2, we have impact shock gravity. Grants access to the helmet mods, kinetic void siphon, and kinetic arc siphon. These mods combine 2 elemental siphons at a discounted cost. Then we have gravitic, I don't know, voltaic charge. While you have an arc or void super equipped, increase the number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. Okay, 4 armor charge stacks. Expert handling, weapon final blows grant a stacking bonus to stability, which resets on weapon reload or stow. Swords gain guard resistance. Final blows create a stacking bonus to stability. Yeah, okay. Probably this, if anything. Would be good with the Praxis Blade. Fastest draw. If the first shot shortly after reloading or readying a weapon is a precision hit, gain flinch resistance. That sounds like it'd be something good for PvP. Not so much PvE, maybe, but nothing special. An elemental siphon. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super. Create an elemental pickup that matches your super. That's pretty good. I'll take that. Like, just goes with anything. That just blends really well. Press the advantage. Breaking a combatant's shield grants increased weapon stability, handling, and reload speed. Swords gain increased guard resistance. So this one and this one are very much the same, except we break the shield. Okay. Kinetic synthesis, sustained kinetic weapon damage, and rapid final blows have a chance to generate a unique ammo brick. Collecting this brick will grant ammo to equipped kinetic damage weapons and grant special and heavy ammo progress. Okay, so then it'll just make like your sword or whatever it is do more damage in the kinetics in that slot and then help with progression. So yeah, this is definitely a, hey, use the lightsaber, which everyone's going to do anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Reload at range. Precision hits with bows and snipers grant a stacking bonus to their reload speed. This could go hard with No Land Beyond, Izanagi's Burden getting its buff back, the new sniper that only has 1 shot and I think you gotta manually reload it every time. Bows, anything with Hierarchy of Needs on it. Like Hierarchy of Needs already helps increase the archer's tempo, so that's going crazy. Might be a sniper damage medal, especially with this one over here, but we'll get to the riposte. Shortly after guarding with a sword, your light and heavy attacks stun unshielded combatants, strong against unstoppable champions. You'd be like, nah, and then you bah. Perfect description. That could be cool. Strongholds, getting love. Power from pain, rapid final blows against weakened combatants grant you devour. Okay, it'd be pretty easy to weaken enemies, so then getting free devour is good. Is very good. Dielectric. Oh, this is returning. Defeating arc debuff targets grants bolt charge. Rapidly defeating arc debuff targets spawns an orb of power and heals a small portion of health. Ah, cool. So yeah, this one was a pretty good one. This was with Heresy, I feel like, and it was nice. Armorsmith, breaking a combatant's shield temporarily grants you damage resistance and increased melee damage. That could work. That one's not bad. Counter energy. When you or a member of your fire team stuns a champion, you gain energy for your least charged ability. It's this one again. It's not bad. It's not terrible. Having 100 in that stat probably will help out more with the regen, so we'll see. Combination Argent Blade. Briefly pause after executing a light attack, then follow it up. So you gotta, okay, light attack, pause, then follow up with a light or heavy attack to empower your sword for a short time. This could work. I was trying to think of this with Lament, but I think you gotta like light attack it first and then rev the blade and then go at it. So, but obviously this isn't intended for Lament, but you gotta try and figure out a way to make it work, you know? Singularity Blade. Well, you have a Void Elemental buff. Melee and sword hits weaken targets. Or melee and sword final blows create a weakening burst. Okay, so you just debuff City, give yourself Devour, and then just go to town. There's some very good Void ones. Arc ones have been alright. I don't know if I've been too impressed by them yet. Elemental Orbs Arc. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to spawn an Arc Elemental Orb. Arc Orbs can be thrown or shot to create an arc explosion that jolts targets it damages. It could work. Doesn't seem terrible. Seems like it could be pretty cool. Kinetic Rupture. Kinetic weapon damage against a powerful combatant has a chance to create a kinetic rupture. Targeting this rupture causes a damaging explosion that staggers combatants, strong against unstoppable champions. Targeting this kinetic rupture, does that mean I can, if I hit it with the sword, or is it just like, hey, smack him, make it, damage him, and then stun them? So I have to probably see that, but I feel like this has room for it being good, but this is viewing it on paper. Sniper's Meditation. Sniper rifle hits grant stacking rifle damage, stability and reload bonuses for a short time. Heavy ammo sniper rifle hits count as more than 1. Whisper, Darcy. My god, Darcy could be coming. Whisper, Darcy, and the new one. Yeah, I feel like this could potentially just be a big sniper damage medal. I'll need to level up those. Sword Storm combo. Performing 3 light attacks followed by a heavy attack summons penumbral blades that surround you to damage and disorient combatants. Sword final blows extends the duration of these penumbral blades. I think that's, if you're gonna go anything sword based, that's just a given to run. And Void Infestation. Defeating a weakened target spawns a tracking projectile that weakens other targets. And then that also gives this, yeah. So these all go hand in hand. So you weaken or get Devour or Overshield or something first to do this, and then it creates a weakening burst, defeating weakened targets, spawn the tracking, grant Devour, Void could be back. Nothing Manacles getting its buff as well on Warlock also helps. The constant invis from Graviton forfeit will also be massive. Yeah, Void's gonna be very good. My Titan, oh my goodness, Void Titan's gonna be going crazy. So blasters are coming along. You got your heavy frame blasters, and then you got your like balance frame ones. So some of them overheat faster but do more damage, and then others don't. Praxic Blade, you get it through the Renegades campaign, and I think an exotic mission. That looks so cool. I'm very excited for mine. Give me my green. We really appreciated Lizaku's help in the past, and it seems we're getting more when Renegades launches. Service of Lizaku is one of the new exotics coming with Renegades. It's a machine gun that takes inspiration in the Hive Brood Weavers, and it creates nests of threadlings you can shoot to spawn more and control an area. You can shoot to spawn more. So this is the one I was talking to you about now, where it has the healing frame sort of thing. So you eliminate enemies and then spawn. That's cool how this one looks like Savathun's Castle. And then spawn the threadling nest, the Broodweaver nests, to then have more threadlings spawn, and the threadlings are smarter now. So everything works out together. Trials armor is pretty cool. Overall, I think it looks pretty nice. 2-piece primary ammo weapons gain a bonus to flinch resistance after sliding, and then your weapons gain a temporary increase to handling and aim down sight speeds when an ally is defeated or you revive an ally. And then the reprise weapons, the Immortal's coming back, and so is the Cataphract. So we might have to do some Cataphract things. Go for the Cataphract. And then the additions for weapons, the Martlet, a Void lightweight frame pulse rifle, and then a Strand hand cannon. That's cool. I have to see what the perks are for them, but it'll be interesting. Beyond weapons and armor, we also have some updates of some of the most exclusive items Saint 14 has to offer. I think some of these are returns. I know this one is Benevolence of the Nine. This is one of the old Trials of the Nine shaders that you couldn't get anymore, and you have to do flawless chests. All right, we're going in then. Remember to pick up the correct passage. Be back starting December 19. Nice. New armor sets. Fire Team Ops, Pinnacle, because I think this goes along with the Bushido ones, and then Cirrus, and then the Dawning armor and weapons. It's all wolf themed. The helmets are cool. The helmets are very good for the Dawning. I'm unsure about anything else, and I don't know if I'll be motivated enough. So we went through a lot of these, and my voice is getting very sore. Biggest things that I'm excited for and looking forward to are definitely a lot of the ability changes. I'm so excited for Void Titan, just like the Void Titan Super. The Hunter Supers are all seeming like they're gonna be really good now. Warlock got some love. The Nothing Manacles could be very good. Good, they already are, especially with the artifacts. Void is going to steamroll, but that's not going to stop me from trying to make my Strand builds and keep them going, because Strand is my baby and I will love it forever and always. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'm very excited for Renegades. We're such a short time away.